Kids, we're back and we will be working on chapter 3 in our personal expertise writer's notebook. So I'm going to go to my slide that has my topic. Remember, my topic for this was kayaking, and I've done chapter 1, chapter 2, and now I am on chapter 3, which is kayaks versus canoes. So this is a compare and contrast chapter. I'm going to scroll down and come to my boxes and bullets section. I need to come up with a topic sentence that tells what I'm going to be talking about in this section, which will be comparing kayaks and canoes. And then I need to come up with 3 supporting details that will support my topic sentence. And then we will take all of that and we will write our paragraph for our title, our chapter 3. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and start filling this in and I will be right back. Okay, so for this topic of this section, I will be talking about kayaks and comparing them with canoes. For my topic sentence, I am going to say kayaks and canoes are similar in some ways, but they have some differences too. All of my supporting details will be how they're similar or how they are different. Okay, so I have filled my chart in, and my topic sentence for this is kayaks and canoes are similar in some ways, but they also have some differences too. So I split this up into 3 categories, which kids, you can do this too. If you're working with something like this, you can decide what categories you want to write about, but I decided I would talk about, what kind of boat each of them are, how they work, that should be they, and then how they are used, okay? So use, so the kind, how it works, and the use. So I said for my supporting detail, which supports kayaks and canoes are similar in some ways, but have differences too. This part is supporting this. This is going to be kinds. So both kayaks and canoes are a kind of boat. Kayaks sit low to the water and canoes have higher sides. Most kayaks hold 1 rider while canoes can hold many. So that's the kind of boat they are. It's kind of talking about how they're similar and how they're different. The next one is how it works. So both kayaks and canoes move through the water by a rider using paddles. Canoe paddles are usually 1 pole with a T-shape at one end and the other end has a paddle. But kayak paddles are 1 pole with 1 paddle at each end. So they both have a type of paddle, but they have different types. Like they both have a paddle. One has like a T shape and you use it with both hands and go on one side and then you move it to the other side. That's the canoe. And then with a kayak, you have 1 pole with a paddle on this side, a paddle on the other side, and you go back and forth like this. So that was how they work. And then my supporting detail 3 is both kayaks and canoes can be used for fishing, but in my opinion, this is just my opinion, canoes are better for that sport because they're much bigger. That's how they're used. I really could say that people use both canoes and kayaks for fun or just for being out on the water. Those are other ways that they're used, but I think I'm going to just use these details to help me focus my story, and I can add more when I go to write it on the next slide too. So when I go to the next slide, this is where I'm going to put my heading in. So it'll be chapter 3, kayaks and canoes. And I'm going to use this portion down here where I can give examples and I'll highlight the important words and all that stuff too. So I'm going to be taking all of this and then I'm going to go to the next slide and type it in here in the same kind of order. And if I need to add a little more to that, that's fine. While I'm typing this out or thinking about it, I can change it up a little bit. And that's what I'm going to work on right now. And I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm back. And for this one, I've taken everything from the prior slide where we talked about the kinds, how they work and how they're used. And I've placed it over into my paragraph. So kayaks and canoes are similar in some ways, but they have some differences too. Both kayaks and canoes are a kind of boat. Kayaks sit low to the water and canoes have higher sides. Most kayaks hold 1 rider while canoes can hold many people. Both kayaks and canoes move through the water by a rider using paddles. Canoe paddles are usually 1 pole with a T shape at one end and the other end has a paddle. but kayak paddles are one pole with one paddle each end. Both kayaks and canoes can be used for fishing, but in my opinion, canoes are better for that sport because they are much bigger. So I feel like I need to put an ending and wrap this up here. So I'm going to press my ESC button and get back to where I can type. Click in the box, and I might say, you know, you never know. You never know until you try kayaking. It may be for you. I'll just put something at the end here to kind of wrap it up. Remember, go back and see if you left any examples. Do I have any important words? I think looking through here, I would say probably I would make the word paddles. I would make that bold. So I'm going to double click on it and find my B up here. That's bold. One pole at each end. Both kayaks and canoes can be used for fishing. So I might want to highlight fishing. And remember, I had talked a little bit about how I wanted to add in, there are other things you could do with, you know, for kayaks and canoes. Both kayaks and canoes can also be used for just having fun on the water. So take notice, kids, that I have periods at the end of my sentences. I'll be looking for that kind of thing, and that you have proper capitals, and try to put some bold words in there also. That's kind of helpful when you go to do your glossary. All right, see you soon.